have you ever seen a picture like this? So here is the grocery store, a big one, and here is a chapel. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, interesting situation. With the beginning of the special military operation, I know that many Westerners were hoping that soon a Russian economy would collapse and Russians will experience empty shelves. Now I'm at a big grocery store in St. Petersburg, and as you can see, 8 months passed, almost 9 months passed, and there are no empty groceries shelves in the stores. And actually we have some birds here, there, so here it's a bird. So as you can see, we're good. Our shelves are full. We have birds and everything is okay. And 2 months ago I noticed some videos on YouTube from pro-Russian bloggers, both Russian and expat bloggers from Western countries. So they make a lot of videos about Russian stores and how full our shelves are, about the variety, about the abundance. But and it's good, of course it's good that we have abundance, but today I would like to explain to you maybe one thing that those Russian bloggers who are bragging with the abundance of groceries in Russian stores, as well as Western YouTubers who make their content about Russia. So I would like to explain you one thing that they don't tell you in their videos. And this thing is the core reason why there is no hunger in Russia, and why the core reason why there is no empty shelves in Russian stores. And to be able to understand the core reason for that, let's dive into Russian history. 2 weeks before the February Revolution of 1917, the First World War lasts for almost 3 years already. The reputation of the Tsar is eroded. The main product of that time, black bread, is missing from stores for several days in a row. Famine broke out in such cities as Polotsk, Vitebsk, Kostroma. People in Petrograd were afraid that the same soon would happen in their city. There was enough bread for people, but due to broken logistics chains, there were shortages of basic food. So the hazard of hunger in Petrograd, the capital of the Russian Empire, was the final straw, the catalyst that led to the revolution and the overthrow of the Tsar. And now let's move forward, 70 years later. It's late Soviet Union and its last years. Shelves at stores are almost always empty. People have to line up and make waiting lists for basic food and products. How long do you think a country in such a state will exist? So these two historical examples give us the hint on the core reason why Russian stores have such abundance of food and other products. Just because our government knows that as soon as the shelves in stores in Moscow and in St. Petersburg, as well as in other big cities, get empty, they will have a huge problem with their people. That's why lessons were learned from those two examples, and that's why our government will not let that happen again, at least not in the nearest future. And of course, I need to mention that the food industry in Russia during the last 30 years developed in a great way. We have a lot of food factories, farms, and greenhouses which produce a lot of food. Of course, I have some questions to the quality of that food, but yes, we have things to eat, we have things to buy. The most important issue here is money. You have to have money to buy all that abundant variety of food, So this is the core reason according to Ksenia. So lessons learned. Nobody will allow hunger in Moscow, especially in Moscow and St. Petersburg. That's why you see full shelves in the stores, abundance of varieties, great options, and many things to buy. And those bloggers, those pro-Russian, pro-Putin bloggers, they are bragging. Oh, just look how cheap everything is, how everything is abundant. But the thing is that mostly those bloggers are from Western countries, because of course, for you maybe our prices are cheap, but let's just look at the carts that people have with them, and will you be seeing any cart that is full of food? Just have a try. Just let's look at the carts. Oh yeah, so cheap that this woman don't even have a half a cart, and this woman is just like, yeah, very full. So, as far as I can understand, people are buying just the most needed products. So here is quite not empty cart, but still there are not full carts here, as you can see. And I remind you, it's 6 p.m. now, maybe 6:20 p.m. Really, so people are buying really only needed products. So as you can see, this is the issue of not the abundance of the stores, but how much people can afford. And as you can see, nowadays people cannot afford much. I must tell you a story. So before all this, before 24th of February 2022, I've been to these stores, but when I only needed some products like a frying pan or some new dishes, or when I was close to these stores, only those were the cases where I visited such stores, because You know what I disliked the most about these stores? Yes, there is great variety of products, of produce, and everything, including pans and frying pans even. But before all this happened, before all this special military operations, people had really full carts, and I, didn't like to spend my time in the long lines before the cashier desks. um, that's why I didn't like to go in such stores. And the second reason was because I had no such store in close distance to my apartment building. I always had to travel by bus or by tram or something like that. Yes, we had such cashier desks for people who didn't buy much, but still I didn't like such stores just because there were a lot of people, always a lot of people. All of them are pulling their heavy carts full of groceries and produce and products. And now let's check the cashier desks. So nobody, really, you know, nobody. So and a man who only carries a piece of bread. So do you see any lines? And I tell you that before all this, like 2 or 3 years ago, when I was visiting such a store, there was a big line of carts starting from here and I don't know, ending somewhere here, and now, yeah, we have pretty much no lines, no carts, no queues. So the whole thing is not how abundant the stores with food are. The thing is how much people can buy for their income. As you can see, we see again the carts that are not full with produce and food at all. So I don't understand really those bloggers who are bragging about, oh look how many products we have. Yes, we have a department with fresh fish. It's like, I don't know what you call it, but we call it like red fish, like salmon and other kinds. So here is the department, and do you see anybody buying something? Do you see anybody buying this fish, this fresh fish? Really? Do you see any line or anybody lining up in this department store buying something? People are just watching, and it's 6 p.m. So as you can see, there aren't so many people here, first of all. And do you see the price of that fish? So salmon, I suppose this salmon, la sauce. This cost 1,439 rubles for a kilogram. It's almost, I don't know, it's almost $30 for a kilogram. This salmon steak cost 2,399 rubles. So yeah, one purchase in 5 minutes. Wow, that is a win, really a win. And here a small zoo with fish that is alive so far. However, I quite agree that when a foreigner appears in such a store with his or her Western income, he or she sees these prices and they think, oh, how cheap is everything, how cheap everything is. Wow, I don't understand why Russians are like complaining on their prices. They are so much cheaper than those prices we have in our Western countries, but those foreigners, they don't understand that that for me as a Russian, as a person who works in Russia and has a Russian income, those prices are not cheap at all. For example, this salami, so it's 165 grams. Looks at this, so it's less than half a pound. It's less than half a pound, and it costs 329 rubles, which is I don't know, like $7. Or here, so this salami costs 1,449 rubles for a kilogram. But for example, this particular salami is 408 grams. It's less than a pound. So I really like these eggs. They are called extra, and they come in categories like C1 category and C0 category. So this category means that the eggs are the most biggest eggs, and here is the smaller eggs. So smaller eggs cost 170 rubles, and the bigger eggs cost 135 rubles for 10 pieces. It's not 12, it's not 18, it's 10 pieces, 10 eggs. So before the military operation, it was the price for this were around 88 rubles or maybe 85 rubles, and you can see that price increase was two times. Maybe for you it's okay, the price is okay, but for me the price is totally not okay. For example, this one, 120 rubles for 10 eggs. Before it maybe cost 80 rubles. So let's try to find something cheaper. Something cheaper is 100 rubles. Before the special military operation, we didn't even have such prices, really. Oh, 90 rubles, yeah, good. But as you can see, the category is C2. It means it's the smallest eggs. We are returning to this fresh fish department, and look, nobody's there. So my dear friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with me. And my dear friends, see you in the next video. Bye.